shrieks and the screams of legions upon legions of unborn lipids. The pain rips through you, obliterating all thought, all feeling. Your tadpole burns in your brain. Silence. For the first time in a long time, your thoughts are entirely your own. And then, gravity. Everything you did, everything you sacrificed, it was worth it. For this.
I can't feel the tadpole. It's gone. We're free!
My powers, they're draining. Just like Mazora said they would. A small price to pay in the grand scheme of things.
And I'm still standing in the sun. This is incredible. Maybe whatever had changed in me was permanent. And we didn't even have to turn into mind flayers to do it. Sorry, I didn't mean to, well, you know.
It makes little difference to me. I did what I had to secure my freedom. And in spite of your resistance to completing your evolution, you have proved a good ally.
Skvar, you may have succeeded, but I have failed. Gith's son is dead, and Vlaakith has abandoned me. I will be hunted by her Inquisition to the ends of the world. I must leave. I have nothing more to gain by being here. For you. It was under your watch that my prince was slaughtered. You had the means to free Orpheus, but you chose not to. It is true you helped me end the Grand Design, but the path you chose has cost my people greatly. I will thank you, but I will not stay for you.
Look, the Githyanki take flight.
With the Githyanki gone, there's nothing left but the silence of the city, smoldering, waiting to be rebuilt. But it seems that Gale's mind is elsewhere.
The crown. It's somewhere in the Giontha. If I salvage the stones, I can reforge it. And once I have, I'll return it to Mistra. She'll cure me of my affliction. And I'll finally be free. And a more deserving one this time around. If this adventure has taught me anything, it's that there are things in this world far more valuable than power. Besides, grown quite fond of this merry band of ours, but I'd quite like to see what happens to it. I'm sure Mistra will summon me soon enough, but until then, I propose we celebrate our victory the mortal way, with a drink in our hands and reckless abandon in our hearts.
Ah! That might be the smartest thing you've ever said, Gale. What do you think? Time for a quick one? Before the work begins again?
Excellent. Let's see if the elf song's still standing. Their Golden Sands brew goes down real easy.
I will not be joining you. I fear my presence will be no more welcome in the streets of the city than it ever was.
You're right, of course. But, well, I'll miss you, friend. Your companionship has been quite the education.
I will miss you, too.
Now that you no longer live in each other's minds, it's hard to tell if the Mind Flayer is being sincere, though perhaps no harder than it ever was.
I honestly don't mind what we do once we get to the... Ow! What the... Oh, no. Oh, God. Well, it was nice when it lasted. Ah! I'm sorry. I have to go.
Astarion. Gods, what a horror. To feel the sun on your skin for so long, only to be forced back into the shadows.
We did it, soldier. The city's going to be all right. And so are you. Engine's finally cooked. Held on just long enough. So, how'd I do? So are you. My friend. My companion. I adore you. Careful! Hot! I never gave up. I did my best. I did my best. It's the one thing I can't beat, isn't it? I wanted to live in my city with my friends. But life is for the living. And I saw... Goodbye, son. Goodbye, sea. Goodbye. I'm ready. I stand back. I'm going to.
It's over. And it's all because of you. You, who were destined to become a thrall. Thanks to you, there will be no Illithid Empire, no Death God's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate.
Hello, darling. I was just thinking about freedom. We've dealt with the parasite, and you dealt with Cazador. I'll never be in someone's power again. And all it cost was my life in the sun. Now I belong to the shadows. So, what happens next? True, the Spawn will need someone to lead them, otherwise they'll just be a murderous, blood-sucking horde. Although, I couldn't help but notice you said we should find them. Is that what you want? Is this what you want? I would understand if you wanted to go your own way. Good. Because, selfless as I am, I really did not want to let you go. We are rather excellent together, you know. And united, there is nothing we can't do. I can't say what the future holds for us, but I know we'll be facing it together. And we're going to have a lot of fun.
You have made a fortress in the Underdark with Astarion and other outcast vampire spawn. It is not civilized, it is not safe, but it is home. Few know how to find you, and most that do are unwelcome. So when a message arrives addressed to you both, you fear the worst. Hunters, killers, tormentors. But you need not fear. This letter is an invitation, and it comes from a friend. Written in a frail hand, it requests your presence at a gathering of your former allies, those who stood with you against the Absolute. The journey to the surface is long and perilous, and you would not miss this for the world.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight, fate renews thy bond once more. Thou shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon, wielded in the hand of good. Go. Know one another once more.
I cannot remember the last
There
time
you
I heard
are.
the ballad.
Starting to wonder if you'd show up. You can say that with a straight face after all the times I had to come to your aid. Oh, come here, will you? It's been forever. You feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it. Filled out and healthy is what I was going for. Don't tell me you miss living off whatever scraps we found in crates and barrels. I'm glad you seem well. Trudy. I had no doubt, but I'm glad to hear you say it all the same. Don't be a stranger.
Yes, this place.
Well now. You can make yourself presentable when you have a mind to. Oh, forgive me. I am simply excitable. It is good to be out under an open sky once more. My first, since the reconstruction began. We left quite a mess behind. But the city begins to look something like itself once more. Same twisting alleys for purse pickers. Same wooden buildings ready to get burnt by next year's dragon. Same cisterns overflowing? Huh. Baldurians simply get on with it. Stubbornness, civic spirit, plain stupidity. Perhaps all three, but nothing I will sniff at any longer. Harpers have come from half the world over to lend aid. Farmers, masons, healers. My own son, Jord, has been wooed to their ranks. Already he plans crop cycles in Worm's Crossing. Not so for my daughter. Ryan's rejoined the Flaming Fist. Temporarily, you understand. To organize the craftsmen. Though she spends more time locking up comrades for pocketing aid funds. They might learn a thing or two, if they don't expel her. Again. I suppose I am. I tried to steer them clear of my life's work, but they have chosen it for themselves. There is still much to do. People to house, a Harper network to rebuild. I may have little love for this city, but so long as my family chooses to serve it, I can do no less. For all your travels, I hope you have arrived where you want to be. Home. Whatever that means to you. Ah, sentiment. With the greatest affection, I can think of better ways to sour our stomachs. I must inspect the refreshments. You'll never know. Some ne'er-do-well might have tampered with the wine.
God, I remember one evening when we had to eat 14 apples, some fish heads, and a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
Boo! We are not dreaming! It is our old friend! Oh, and it is good to be seen. Oh, after so many days down in the dark, Minsk began to wonder if he was some blind bug who had only dreamed himself to be large and bulksome. You will forgive the aroma, I hope. We were not expecting the Dusty One to open a portal to our very cell. Boo had a moment to lick himself clean, but there is a little too much of Minsk to cover. Minsk and Boo have been helping, of course. We guard the streets, while Jahira is occupied with harperish matters. The Zentarum rule the city's underbelly, so Minsk and Boo went to give them a tickle. There were harsh words, battle cries, some manner of head wound. We awoke in a Zentish cell, awaiting trial by noble combat. Execution, says Boo, though I am not sure of the difference. It is a long walk to the gallows, and Minsk still has his fists, no? In ample time indeed. So long as the Bone Mage returns us to our cell by dawn, Boo would not be late to the bloodshed. But leave such matters for the morn. Tonight is for celebration and the telling of tales. How have you filled your days since we tore this sticky tyrant from the sky? Embrace me, my friend! And should you feel a squirming, know that it is only Boo. Or perhaps the buffet has gone bad. Ha! You are quite coated in hamster hair. Now, wherever you go, Boo goes too. powerful pairing. If love cannot cure a vampire, what can? Oh, Boo suggests a variety of arcane remedies, but love is the most potent, and by far the easiest to pronounce. There is much merriment to be made before the night is done. Go, and greet the others. Minsk shall make himself presentable. Ah, this pond shall do nicely, Boo, though I see no soap. So you shall have to blow the bubbles for me.
A most welcome sight.
There you are. I was hoping you'd make your way over.
I hope the others in the Underdark are behaving themselves without me.
I'm glad the roads were kind. I'd hate to have missed this.
I swear, someone's
Lucky
getting...
thing I didn't decide to go to army yet. No way I would have made it back in time.
Withers can pluck wine from all over the world, but is there one bottle of fresh blood?
Oh, pardon me. New days, old friend. Well, well. Look what the Tressim dragged in. Professor Gale Decarius of Blackstaff Academy. Educator of the esteemed School of Illusion. A pleasure to remake your acquaintance. Well, that was quite lovely. I'm glad you're as pleased to see me as I am you. I have to say, I'm quite grateful to just be Gale for the evening. I fear my students find me somewhat intimidating due to my, explosive former reputation. I seem to put the fear of the gods into them. Or the fear of Mystra, to be more specific. I surrendered the crown of Carsus to her, as I told you I would. And in return, she cured me of the orb at last. Even now, I struggle to put the feelings into words. It was like exhaling for the first time after holding my breath for so very long. Of course, I haven't clarified with my students that the orb is no longer a threat. The legend of my explosive capabilities is an excellent means of controlling a classroom. Too good, if anything. I spend most of my time trying to convince them how much fun the study of magic can be. But it'd be easier to crack a smile on an intellect devourer than some of my pupils. Still, I hoped my students might be a little more open to the playful side of such magic. Oh, they try their best, of course, when they can manage to stay awake.
The cheek of them! Nothing a well-placed swipe from Tara can't fix, though.
And what of you? What are you making of this newfound lease of life we earned? From you, I'd expect nothing less. I've told my students plenty of tales about our escapades. You're something of a hero to them, you know? I'd be delighted to introduce you to my current cohort as a guest lecturer, perhaps. I'm sure they'd have plenty of questions for you. I don't see why not. 2 heads are better than 1. Unless you're dealing with an Etin. Of course, you'll be most welcome to stay with me in my tower. My apologies, Tara. That would be our tower. It will give us plenty of time to catch up on your adventures. I'm very curious to know what you've been up to these past months. But I suspect the telling of that tale would keep you tied to me all evening. So, in the spirit of selflessness, I encourage you to mix and mingle for now, with time enough to come.
Gods, I must look a mess. I just rolled out from under a pesky ogre when Withers yanked me in. Oh, I didn't mean... Well, I didn't mean that. I just gutted the ogre, not... How about I change the subject before I dig this hole any deeper? It's so good to see you. And I've got so much to tell. The trolls I've torn open, the ghouls I've cleaved, the stories I've been itching to tell. I don't suppose you'd indulge me. I won't lie. Losing the eldritch blasts and the hexes took some getting used to. Nothing but void, where once there was hellfire. So, I stoked new fires in myself using the lessons my father once taught me. Now, the Blade of Frontiers is a ranger. A true hunter of monsters. A warden in more than just name. That ranger's left a mountain of corpses in his wake, and collected a tale or two. You'd indulge him one, yes? You'll have to choose one tale and one tale only, I'm afraid, or I'll be yammering all night. You want to hear about the Stegosaurus that bullied Candle Keep, the impossible Lich, or the young dragon who crawled out of Deeping Cave? There are tales galore of a great green dragon called Clogiliometer. Try saying that 5 times in a row. Clogiliometer, Clogilimuffer, Clogamother, whatever. Let's call it Old Gnawbone. Turns out, Old Gnawbone had kids. And one of them flew the roost and took to stalking a small elven enclave outside Crypt Garden Forest. The damned dragon had turned the place into a slave camp before I arrived. Sordid beyond words. He was a big boy, but still a young'un. A wonder of the skies, but a lumbering oaf on the ground. I tried a sly approach, but the whelp saw me coming and up it flew. Poison poured from its mouth as it descended. I tumbled away, shot it with arrows, and it crashed to the ground. I could have ended the battle there and then. But this was prey that deserved to be played with. The beast was a smoking heap of black-green scales once the battle was over. The elves and I sang songs and drank mead in celebration until their barrels went dry. I've missed you too. The rush of battles we fought, the heart-to-hearts, the nights around the fire. The comfort of knowing I didn't face the unknown alone. If I had to do it all over again, and I'd rather not, to be clear, I can't imagine not having you at my side. Go on, the night's young. You shouldn't waste a moment of it. Or waste a single drop of wine for that matter. I plan on downing half a bottle myself. Oops, did I say half a bottle? I meant half a dozen.
Oh, right. You. Hello. You helped Mr. Dakarios save Baldur's Gate from the Absolute, isn't that right? That doesn't sound like him. But whichever way you want to remember it, well done, I suppose. You ought to come visit myself and Gale when you're able, if you can extract yourself from what I'm sure are very important responsibilities. We'll send word by pigeon when we've need of you. I used to have a taste for them, but a great many things have changed in recent months. Ta-ta, darling.
To not overindulge tonight, lest I lose control and slip into barefoot.
For 2 months I trained the Knights of the Comet. For 2 more I skewered Kithraki bellies. And for 2 more yet, I traveled through limbo. I never imagined we'd be standing toe-to-toe on this day, in this place. Nothing but allies, I always told myself. A necessary partnership. But in spite of every strained word, every barbed glance, seeing you brings me even more pleasure than taking a Royal Inquisitor's head. We've spilled blood, gained a foothold in the Astral, but still we need allies. And one beyond reckoning has made itself known. Zerith Minyaragith. No need to pretend. I know the word means little to you. Shractalor is the capital of the Githzerai, an exiled people. Once kin with mine until the madness of civil war ripped out one sky into 2. Algish sent word of the rebellion to their god king Zerith Minyaragith through the cosmos. He's agreed to parley. It's fallen to me to secure an alliance. Sometimes. But I don't need the Githzerai to fight for us. Just with us. Minyaragith is an ascetic. He reached out in good faith. This is his way. It is in this spirit that I must meet him. He is also a near deity. Should the Githzerai join us, we could topple the City of Death in a red dragon's blink. Should they refuse, I carry on. Gravity pulls me in but one direction. I am the comet. I will not rest until I burn Vlaakith's bones to ash and smash her phylactery to pieces. My people will be free. But you've heard that refrain before. Zealous, bossy, insistent. All part and parcel of my undeniable charm. And to you, always. Now go, mingle a bit. That's the word, right? Mingle. But don't think you've seen the last of me. I'll be back. Sure as the comet will rise. Sure as Kalir will forever circle the sun.
There's something strange in your old friend's mouth. What is it? Scratch barks merrily in something like agreement. He seems excited in a way you recognize. He wants you to throw the object he's dropped. But it isn't a ball. It's the astral prism. He whines. Less talk, more throw.
And how have our friends fared without us? I'm glad. It would be so easy to go through everything we did and come out the other side bitter and twisted. But they deserve happiness. We all do. And I will forever be grateful to have found it with you. I do feel a little bad keeping you all to myself. After all, I get to see you every night. Go on, go mingle. Enjoy your time with the others. Bless them with your presence. I'll be here when you're ready. I'll always be here, my love. Go on, talk to the others. We have forever after all.
God, I remember one evening when we had to eat 14 apples, some fish heads, and a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
Thou feelst it still. She is not here. She who was the boldest. Hast thy thoughts been with brave Karlach often? Truly? Most of the time it was she who was strong for thee. Didst thou not employ her ever to carry all of thine loot? It is said that mortals require levity, that it is the antidote to any of the darkest hours. And who knew that better than she? In but a dozen 10 days, an entire life was lived. More than mortal years. Mortal centuries were hers. Thy band, thy bond, gave that life to her. In the fugue plane, her soul burns so bright, it pains the gods to look upon. Recall that in time, all changeth and all is rejoined. Thou shalt be with her again. What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready. For thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving. To you.